Hello class, today we'll be learning further about the settlement of industrial dispute. In the previous classes, we had learned about what is industrial dispute, what are the causes of industrial dispute, and what are the types of industrial dispute. And today we'll be learning about how to settle if an industrial dispute has erupted in an industry. So, we're going into the industrial dispute, how to settle industrial dispute, and we know that in industries, industrial dispute are bound to happen, and if it does happen, there are few methods which are adopted to settle this, because if we do not settle industrial dispute, it will become worse and the industry itself has to shut down, which will eventually cause problem to the entire country. So instead of going to thus far, we try to solve it within the industry. If it is not possible to finish it within the industry, we call a third party. So these are few of the methods that are adopted to settle an industrial dispute. First is collective bargaining, then we've got negotiation, conciliation, mediation, and arbitration. So collective bargaining, negotiation, conciliation, mediation, and arbitration. First, let's discuss what is collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is nothing but a technique by which disputes are resolved amicably by agreement rather than by coercion. Here, power is not exercised, but it's through an agreement between the two disputing parties, between the workers and the management. The second thing that they adopt is negotiation, which is similar to collective bargaining. In negotiation also, these two disputing parties are involved, or their representatives are involved, and they come to again a mutual agreement, and this method should be encouraged as it is a more bipartite dialogue. As I said, both negotiation and collective bargaining both are sort of synonym. Then we've got conciliation, that is the third method. In both the previous methods, we had seen there are only two people or two parties involved, the workers and the management. But in conciliation, an outsider is involved, or a third party is invited so that their differences could be sorted. Thus, conciliation is a process by which the representatives of both these parties come together in front of another person. They express all their concerns. Both the parties express their concerns, and conciliation, it is actually just giving an advice like how things could be. He is very passive. A conciliator is very passive. He tries to make these two people come to an agreement. It's of two types. Conciliation may be compulsory or voluntary. Voluntary conciliation is made at the free will of the disputing parties. But in compulsory conciliation, government is compulsory referring the dispute to a third party. Moving on from conciliation, we come to mediation. In mediation, here also a third party is involved. But unlike conciliation, a mediator plays a more positive role. He is not biased, but he listens to both the views and then he comes with a solution, going on from mediation to arbitration. When the two disputing parties mutually agree to refer the dispute to a third party and to accept whatever judgment he says, then it's arbitration. And the person who is doing this is called an arbitrator. The arbitrator could be a private person or a government authority, and he is appointed with the consent of both the parties. So they're coming to a mutual discussion, or they're coming to a mutual conclusion and telling to refer the problem to an arbitrator, and they agree upon whatever decision he says. Arbitration is also of two types, voluntary and compulsory. Voluntary arbitration means the disputing parties agree to come and solve their problem. In compulsory arbitration, the government advocates both the parties of dispute to come to an arbitrator with their differences. And compulsory arbitration is called adjudication. Now, there are few bodies in which these problems could be dissolved, or how to solve these problems. Conciliation Board. As need arises, government is also authorized to constitute a board of conciliation. So government is initiating a board of conciliation so that they can solve all the problems relating to industries, and it consists of a chairman who shall be an independent person and 2 or 4 other members. The members appointed shall be equal numbers to represent the parties of dispute. On the dispute being referred to the board, it is the duty of the board to do all things as it thinks fit for the purpose of inducing the parties to come to a fair and amicable settlement. That is, the conciliation board consists of equal number of members from both the disputing parties. They are supposed to come to a final amicable settlement. Now, the duties of the board. The board is supposed to call these 2 disputing parties, investigate the matter, and in case of failure of settlement, they are supposed to give the report to the concerned government. Then the court of enquiry. At times, government can initiate a court of enquiry. This court of enquiry find out matters connected to the industrial dispute, and then they come to a conclusion, and the report is submitted. Next is the labor court. In the labor court are also constituted by the government so that the industrial dispute could be settled amicably. Lastly, the industrial tribunals, or the tribunals which are set up again by the government for the adjudication of industrial disputes. And there are also national tribunals, so that if the industry is in a national level, this could be solved. It is constituted by the central government for the adjudication of industrial dispute. Thank you.